This is Tara Talks, Ryan Listens. We are back again. Welcome back and thanks for listening.
Yeah, so we're back. Yet another episode. I think we might have a lot of new listeners because I've been like dropping our info in a lot of different places trying to expand our listeners. Hopefully I reached a few people, so I'm gonna assume that we got some new listeners. So shout out to all three of y'all.
Yes, every listener matters.
All three of the new people. I
We
appreciate
appreciate
y'all,
it.
seriously.
Yes.
But yeah, let's go ahead and jump right into it. What you got?
So, first of all, I just want to say happy belated Loving Day. I mean, technically, when we're recording this today is Loving Day, but by the time it airs, it'll be belated. So June 12th is when, I don't even know how to say this word, anti-miscegenation laws were officially deemed unconstitutional. So the whole loving trial, that couple, interracial couple.
Yeah, you have to go into like a lot of detail because I kind of know what you're talking about, but a lot of people might not. So start at the beginning.
So basically, back in the late 50s, early 60s, this white man loved a black woman. They kind of grew up together and, knew each other. And it was like they loved each other. I don't know how to explain that. And so they went to DC and got married where it was legal for black people and white people to get married, but they lived in Virginia. And so y'all know I used to live in Virginia and there's some good things about it that I love, but man, it has its flaws, especially when it comes to racism and the South and, things of that nature. And so it was illegal in Virginia at that time. And so my first thought was, why didn't they just stay in DC? So I did my Googles and come to find out they did try living in DC after they got caught one time. And they missed their family. I mean, and they weren't really city folk. They were country folk and wanted to just kind of like live on the farm and be with their family. And like, I kind of get that. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel you.
For the government to be like, nah, you got to move. Like, you're basically fleeing on principle just to like love who you want to love.
Exactly.
And so it's so funny to me because nowadays we debate whether or not it's a good idea for black women to be with white men, get you something new, or for white men to be with black women and it to be like, oh, sorry, that's something new. For black women to be with white men is something new. For black men, why do I keep saying this backwards?
I don't know.
For black men to be with white women.
Start over, and I'll cut that part. I'm saying this into the mic because I'm probably not going to cut it.
You're not, because you want me to sound crazy. But the point is, nowadays we debate whether or not it's good for black men and women to be with white men and women. And back then it was illegal. And we kind of take for granted now that it's a choice or a personal preference, or you love who you love or whatever. People, kind of like have their opinions about it. But at the end of the day, like, it just blows my mind that this was not that long ago when it was illegal. Like, you are in jail for sleeping in bed with your wife or your husband.
Because you have feelings for a person whose skin does not look like yours.
Right.
It's a crime.
Right.
Imagine that in the alleged land of the free.
Yeah. And so shout out to them for like sticking up for what they believed in, because they didn't necessarily do it for themselves. Like I said, they could have just fled Virginia, lived somewhere else in exile and just lived their lives. But they fought for all the people that came after them to be able to love who they love. So shout out to you if you are in an interracial relationship, and shout out to the Lovings for making it happen. I will say, like, the movie that came out about them came out a few years ago, and I tried to watch it when I was on a plane recently. And as much as I love my AirPods, they do not cancel out noise on airplanes. So I need to try to finish that movie at some. It's a very, like, how serious movies, they get like really, really quiet in certain parts and then really loud in certain parts. So it was just like,
yeah, it's like a dramatic kind of thing.
Yeah, it was hard to hear what was actually happening. So I need to go back and plus I wanted to watch it with you as well. So I need to go back and watch it. But yeah, so Happy
Now you want to
loving
watch
day.
stuff with me. Okay.
Look, you know how we are. If we wait too long, we'll never see all the stuff we want to try to watch
Oh yeah,
together.
trust me. So many things I want to see, but I haven't seen them yet because I'm waiting to watch them with you so I don't get in trouble.
I
But
know
then
that's
what do
right.
you do? Watch the Beyonce thing
I was gonna
without
say,
me.
okay, I watched Homecoming without you.
Yep.
Speaking of Beyonce,
What a
moving
perfect
on.
segue.
Yeah, moving on to what's on my timeline, our news segment. And so I'm not gonna go into a ton of detail because I'm sure a lot of y'all saw what happened. But basically, Beyonce and Jay-Z were at a basketball game. I think it was Warriors.
Oh, here we go with this.
What? Sports?
Not sports, but what the story you talking about. Go for it.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't know sports. Sorry. But they were at a basketball game, and this woman leaned over Beyonce to ask Jay-Z something, and Beyonce's face was just looked like either RBF or disgust or something. And everybody took that and blew it so out of proportion.
I'm willing to bet that old girls just kind of smelled weird and Beyonce didn't want to have her that close.
I don't even think it was that deep. I think literally sometimes Beyonce just be in her own world. If you look at her at sporting events, like I saw a legit, like a BuzzFeed type post of all of her facial expressions at sporting events. I'm talking about tennis matches, her best friend, well, I'm saying best friend, one of her best friends, Serena, she just, I feel like, and I could be wrong, but I feel like Beyonce is like me and just does not care about sports and just be there and like, what's going on? Oh, okay, something happened. Like that's how it looks on her face at a lot of sporting events.
Yeah.
And so the fact
I'm
that
not
people
denying that. And that's basically what I'm saying is that she was probably just making a weird face
right
for something completely other than what it was alleged for. But
people
yeah.
try to make it like Becky with the good hair and all of this. And the thing is, like, y'all have to just understand that all of this stuff that came out on Lemonade happened years before Lemonade came out and years before 444 came out. Like, they obviously have spoken openly about the fact they went to counseling, they worked through stuff, they renewed their vows, they're like good. So I really wish the rest of us could get over it. And even if they were having problems, like, why do we always have to like blow stuff out of proportion? But one thing that the reason I wanted to bring this up was not to bring it up because I feel like people beat it to death. But what I loved about it was the fact that Beyonce came out through her publicist and basically said, stop spewing hate in her name, which I am a fan of because the Beehive, and this is why I said I don't like to say I'm, a Beyonce stan or a part of the Beehive, is because they take stuff like way too seriously and take it out of control, like it just goes out of control. It's ridiculous. And so I do not like to associate myself with that. And I love that now Beyonce's not wanting to associate herself with that either. And she's like, and the article I saw basically was saying, if this is the artist that you love, why are you stirring up hate and drama over someone you supposedly love? And then she's all about love.
Yeah, people don't think before they do stuff to sound cool. So that's all I got.
It kind of reminded me of, there's a photo, like a series, it's like a series of 3 or 4 photos where Barack is sitting by some lady laughing, and then Michelle kind of has like a weird face, and then next thing you know, they switch seats and he got a straight face on. Yep. That's just funny to assume, like, oh, he got in trouble because he was having too much fun with this other lady and she made him move. But who knows? Like, maybe he went up to go to the bathroom and then came back, and like, you never know what the story is behind stuff. And I just feel like there's no reason to really speculate, especially off of like snapshots or even video when you can't hear the audio. Like, y'all are just saying, oh, what'd she say to him? Like, she literally was asking him if he wanted a drink. Like, so right. Not that serious.
And even with the joke, because let's be honest, the Barack and Michelle thing was funny.
Hilarious.
Laugh at it and move on. I promise you, they do not need your help. They don't need our help. They got this.
Right.
Anyway, what's next?
So, next up, I really don't want to linger here too long either, but because I haven't seen the Red Table Talk about it, but I saw an article about Will and Jada, and basically she was saying that there are other types of indiscretions other than infidelity.
Okay.
And so people always try to speculate, like, do they have an open marriage? Do they have threesomes? Have they cheated on each other? I think it's just like hard for people to believe that they've been together for so long. And so, matter of fact, how long have Will and Jada been together? How long you think? I think 96.
Sure.
It says more than 20 years. So, yeah, mid to late 90s. And so she basically says, and again, I haven't seen the interview yet, but she basically says that no, they haven't cheated on each other, but there are other ways, things like ignoring your partner or making them feel devalued, or just different types of things that could be considered just as much, if not more, of an indiscretion than infidelity. What do you think about that?
I would agree, but I don't have a whole lot of context on it because, one, I haven't seen the table talk either, and two, I can't think of any really good examples right now. So, yeah.
So the examples she gave were contempt, resentment, or neglect.
Yeah, those are really good ones. Okay, because here's the thing. Neglect automatically is just going to make the person feel alone or alienated, in which case they find that attention somewhere else.
That's it. And I think a lot of times people focus on the infidelity, not realizing that before you even get to infidelity, there's contempt, resentment, or neglect.
Right, because at that point, even if, let's say, for example, you were neglecting me and I'm really trying to spend time with you and you just ain't nowhere to be found, you won't respond to nothing, we looking at each other and you won't even have a conversation with me. So at this point, I'm lonely. Not alone because you're right there, but I'm lonely.
Right.
You won't
You
give
can
me the
be
time
lonely,
of day.
yeah, within a
And
relationship.
I have a friend who happens to be a female who might be somewhat attractive, might be attracted to me, whatever. Next thing you know, I'm having really deep conversations with her that I would and should be having with you, but you not listening.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, that one thing turns into another. Next thing you know, I'm spending all my time with her, and you like, where you at? I'm like, don't worry about where I'm at. Next thing you know, there's a whole level of resentment, and it just spirals.
And that's the thing people forget about in relationships. And I totally agree with Jade on this. Like I said, I want to watch it and kind of get her tone and context a little bit more. But just from reading this article, I instantly was like, yep, I can understand that, because to me, your partner should be the person you confide in, the person you turn to, the person you support. So when you get to things like neglect, resentment, or contempt, that pushes you to somebody else for that confidant. You know, like, yes, you're gonna have best friends and, you know, family members that you confide in, or, you know, it might be God or your journal, but like, I feel like that's kind of why we are still, as a culture, society, why we still do marriage. You know, like, we still feel the need to like pick that one partner for life that you are supposed to confide in.
Yeah, and even that, so statistically, there's so fewer people getting married now, but that makes sense that people are still wanting to hold on to it for that reason.
But yeah, anyway, I just thought that was interesting, that that's something to watch out for, because people are always so big into like infidelity as like the ultimate deal breaker. But like, to me, the whole alienation one, that's kind of more where I see just as much a problem as infidelity, because like, if you mentally checked out, then what am I here for? Like what's the point? So yeah, you kind of have to, I feel like, nip those things in the bud.
You become a placeholder.
Exactly. So I don't know. I feel like everybody's fascinated by Will and Jada's relationship and always asking like how they do X, Y, and Z, just because, you know, there's not that many great examples of Black love that's lasted through the decades, I guess.
Yeah, or at least not in the public eye.
Right, exactly.
So, yeah.
Good luck to them, and I'll have to watch it for more. So
real quick, the moral of both of those stories is mind your business.
Yeah.
Carry on.
So Ava DuVernay.
Who
Did I say
is
that
it?
wrong? DuVernay?
Probably. I think I've always heard Duvernay.
Okay, yeah. DuVernay. Ava DuVernay.
You sound like the lady at the DMV, and she got to correct how does she pronounce the name.
I'm
Next,
country.
DuVernay. DuVernay. Like,
the funny thing is, she probably goes by DuVernay in the Hollywood circles, but I bet you her family go by DuVernay.
I'm gonna look into that.
Where the DuVernays at? Speak up.
Don't even sound right, but carry on.
Anywho, Ava, Oprah.
That sound like you saying Tuesday.
That's what I did.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yes.
It's like you say one of them right.
Just like you say the or the.
That's different.
Why?
Because you're adjusting the syllable to sound less formal. D instead of day is more of an accent thing based on your region and dialect. There's a whole other thing there.
Okay, so Ava, Oprah, and Gail.
Cool.
Would prefer not to be called Auntie.
What?
Which is so funny because when we were discussing how to pronounce her last name, I almost said Auntie Ava. Like, and then I was like, oh no, can't say that.
So they don't like being called Auntie. Why?
So the article I read said it makes them feel old and also it's disrespectful. So
how? Where's the disrespect?
So I guess it's kind of like if somebody has their PhD and you call them Mr. or you just call them by their first name instead of saying Dr. So-and-so. Like they worked hard for X, Y, and Z and earned it, and it's a level of respect. They kind of compared it to something like that. But to me, it's not the same thing at all.
Nah, it's not at all.
Yes,
I did
Auntie
see this
so-and-so.
and hear about this. Yeah, that's like, it's more of a celebratory thing. Like,
yeah.
It's a respectful thing. Like
Definitely.
First of all, Oprah's not young.
Oprah is not young.
Oprah has
what,
decades
60,
in the game. Oprah has decades in the game right now.
Gail, same age, just about.
Gail's the same age. Also decades in the game. We were just talking about how we've been sleeping on her for decades.
Yeah.
And it was like, she's a lot more than just Oprah's homegirl. Or excuse me, Oprah's really good friend.
But, and then Ava, like, she's not as old as them, but she ain't no spring chicken. She ain't in her 20s.
Oh my goodness, where are you from? No, seriously, where are you from?
From the same place you from.
Yeah, but never mind. I guess.
Don't act like you never heard that before.
Yes, I have.
Exactly.
But from people's aunties.
Exactly. I'm an auntie.
You are biologically someone's aunt. But
so you're agreeing with them that auntie is
no,
an
I'm
age
saying
thing.
you sound old right now is what I'm
am.
saying. Okay, whatever.
I am old. I've always sounded old. But anyway, the point is...
The point
she's
actually
46.
is... Okay, yeah, so she's the same age as my mom.
So, no, she's not, like, in her 80s, but at what point do you...
Right, she's not 22.
At what point do you get lovingly called auntie?
So here's the thing. When I was in high school, like, I was a junior, I think, and then there was a group of freshmen who I was cool with, mostly girls. Well, it was all girls that was calling me Uncle Rye.
Right.
I was fine with that.
Exactly.
Because, they were freshmen, I was a junior, I was looking out for them.
Right.
And that's what it was, Generally, when somebody says uncle or auntie, it's because they respect the fact that they may be older, not necessarily old, but you have been where I am right now. And I respect the fact that you are passing wisdom.
Sage wisdom, if you will.
Sage wisdom. And we respect the things that you have to give to society, to give us even as individuals, even whether you know us personally or not. It's literally a respect and admiration kind of thing, because many Black people look at the Black community as a village.
Yes, and that's what it is. It's
that's
a village.
what it is. So,
for instance, every friend of your parents was auntie so-and-so, uncle so-and-so. It wasn't
right. You don't just call them by their first name.
Yeah, it wasn't just your parents' siblings that were auntie and uncle. Like, it's
the people who helped raise, who were part of your village. Like, my mom has one half brother, and my mom has a bunch of friends, meaning I got a bunch of aunties and a bunch of cousins who are not related to me.
Right.
And why do I call them auntie? Because at some point in my life, they did something for me. I have respect for them, and they were ultimately looking out for my best interest. And that's really what we mean when we say auntie this or auntie that.
So it is a term of
How long we been calling
endearment.
Snoop uncle?
Right.
Snoop wasn't old when we started saying uncle.
Exactly. Exactly. It's a term of endearment. It means we see what you're doing for us, the community.
Right.
And the thing is, I just really hate that they won't just embrace it. I kind of feel like, well, at first I felt like it was the whole, single without children, but Gail has kids. So I don't know I don't think she's married now. I know she was in the past. So I don't know what it is, but sometimes like Black women who are single without children and get called auntie, it's kind of like it can be a negative connotation. But even that, like, you cool auntie. You're the cool auntie we want to like hang out with, kick it with. You got money. You finna take us to the mall real quick.
You the one that was passing us them wine coolers when we was 14.
Right. And when our parents say,
don't tell your mama what's in your cup.
Right, exactly. Like, you're getting us.
Why was that valuable? Because by the time I got to college or high school and somebody handed me some alcohol, I knew how to handle my alcohol.
Crazy. Exactly.
I didn't go crazy like the other kids did.
Yeah.
Because
it was,
why?
and I could even turn it down because it was like, I've had that.
Right. That ain't nothing new. Ain't nothing new.
And then, instead of, while your parents were saying you got McDonald's money, the aunties had the McDonald's money.
Right.
The aunties and the uncles were the ones showing up at grandma's house with a dozen donuts and a dozen just like McGriddles. Like, that is exactly an auntie and an uncle move. So I just don't see why it's offensive. Like, I work with a lot of younger kids and they call me auntie or mama. I'm not nobody's mama, but I love it. I seriously embrace it because I'm just like, if they look to me as like, she made it, she's successful, she's where I want to be, to me, that's a compliment. Or if they look to me and they say, I feel like I can confide in her, I can go to her if I need anything, if it's a hug or a shoulder to cry on or somebody to vent to, I want to be that person for younger people. So
we have friends who are within 3 years of our age.
Yes, and they literally call us mom and dad. Yes.
I mean,
like they're literally just a few years younger than us, and literally I'm like, hey son.
One of them is older than me.
Yes, one is
and you're older than me and younger than you, but we're her parents.
No, she's a few months older than me.
Oh, she's older than
like a couple
older
of
than
months.
both of us.
Yeah,
but yeah,
that's literally we are not offended by that. That is a compliment.
It's a compliment.
Like, literally, some of our friends like get grossed out if we hug or kiss or show any type of PDA because they're like, mom and dad, auntie and uncle, and I'm like,
there's that whole thing, and it's funny to me.
It's hilarious to me because
when we have actual kids, I'm gonna go crazy with that.
Exactly. So I'm just like, I don't understand the offense, but they're basically like, only my biological nieces and nephews need to be calling me auntie.
And then on top of that, not everybody gets to be auntie. Just because you old and Black don't mean older than us and Black don't mean that you know. It's a title that is bestowed upon you.
Yes. And I mean, like, Auntie Maxine, she embraced that.
Auntie Maxine.
She embraced that. She reclaimed her time.
You feel me?
And she reclaimed that title. So I don't see why anyone would be offended by that. I'm not, I love me some Oprah, love me some Gail, and, learning to love Ava. She new on the scene compared to the other two. But I didn't like that.
Yeah, it was weird.
I mean, they can feel how they want to feel. But also, we can feel how we want to feel.
Right. Because I just keep coming back to that Snoop example. Like, Snoop it was like, what, probably 20 years ago when we started saying Uncle Snoop.
Yes.
And back then, Snoop might have just hit his 30s around that time. I don't know.
The funny thing
I don't really know exactly how old Snoop is. I don't feel like looking it up. But the point is, it's like he had been in the game for like 10 years. And hip hop is not that old of a genre. So it's not like, it's not like everybody was 10 years in the game. It was only a few people 10 years in the game that was still active and still making moves and still alive for that matter.
Yeah, because a lot of people anyway, so the thing is, to me, them saying don't call me auntie is like that parent that is like, call me Richard, not daddy. Or the mom that's like, actually, my name is Karen. Like, you know, there's like some people that make their kids call them by their name. And I'm just like, wait, what?
That's weird.
So you don't want to receive this affection that I have for you?
Right. That's what it is an affectionate term. But yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like I said, they're welcome to feel how they want to feel. And I hope when I meet them, I don't yell out Auntie. But
right.
Please don't be offended if I do. It's all in love. LOVE.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, again, that it's all out of admiration and respect. Again, not everybody gets to be called Auntie, so
not at all.
Can you think of somebody we don't call Auntie? Somebody famous? A black woman who's at least older.
Oh, okay. Us. Yes, my girl from Clueless.
Oh, you talking about what's
Dame
her name?
Dash cousin.
Oh yeah, nah. She don't even. Yeah.
Yeah, no, she don't get it.
Nah, even yeah. Because she's like age range enough,
but she has not earned it.
Right. She probably won't at this point.
Ben Carson. Ain't nobody calling him Uncle Ben. And that would be
Uncle
easy
Ben.
to do.
That would be so easy.
That would be. It's right there. The rice.
It's right there.
But no, he hasn't earned it.
No.
So.
Yeah. There's that.
In other news, just like real quick, I saw this on my timeline and it said, and I thought this was hilarious. It was literally no article to go with it, just a headline. It said, celebrate Juneteenth by Venmoing all your black friends $50. Can we make that a thing?
So here's the deal. We're just gonna be trading $50.
No, this is for white people.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense. Because I was like, look, if I send you $50, then somebody send me $50, my bank account's not really gonna move.
This
it's
is
just
a
Venmo
message.
finna get a lot of action.
This is a message for white people, for the whites, if you will. And
there's a difference between white people and the whites.
I know. I just had to pronounce that H because it reminded me of Stewie. Cool Whip. But okay, so white allies, if you're listening, go ahead and Venmo your black friends $50 or $5, $10. If white guilt is that serious, this is how we get reparations, right?
Yeah.
There's no credibility to this.
I get it, but
like literally so random. Like I just clicked on it and it was like nothing.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I also see how to find that article. Oh, always popping up. I hate when you go on a website and there's a pop-up saying join our email list. Why?
Oh, you want the article? I told you there was literally no article. Like,
but but what I'm saying is, never mind. Go ahead, carry on.
I just took a screenshot, but I actually clicked on it. I did.
So there's no link. There's no article.
There is a link, but like scroll. There's no content. Is what I meant.
Oh wow, there's no content.
See? Okay, thank you.
Hold up. So they literally just put it. Wow, they straight just put a headline.
Yes.
I was gonna go in on you.
I know.
No, I was gonna play you. I was gonna go in. All right, carry on. Because it was like you were a journalism major and can't figure out where the article came from.
Yes, I am a journalism major. I think that's all I had for this week.
Cool. And I only got one weird news story, aka obscure news. Yeah. So nothing. I was looking around the net. Nothing really jumped out at me. I've also been very busy this week. I've been working like.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot one.
Go ahead.
I'm so sorry to cut you off.
Yeah,
but
I'm just gonna start over. Go ahead.
I actually do have one more. So this one.
Just be glad I didn't start reading the headline.
I know.
Yeah, you'll have to wait till next week.
So LeBron James' school is collaborating with Olympian Simone Manuel to teach Black youths how to swim. And this article says, did you know that 64% of African American adults and young people have little to no swimming ability? And so LeBron's I Promise School is planning to change that. And I just loved that because, can I be vulnerable?
Yeah.
I don't know how to swim.
That's real.
I mean, I know how to swim, but I don't know how to swim. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. I can swim. I can get in the pool.
Like, I can go underwater and not die.
Yes.
And I can go underwater and maybe move about 10 feet that way.
Yeah. I mean, I can move my arms and legs and, I'll get somewhere. But deep in, not necessarily my favorite place to be. Like, after I stop standing, I get nervous.
I don't think I've ever been beyond the 5 foot water.
I don't like my face underwater. I wear contacts. And so opening my eyes is just like,
Well, you don't have to open your eyes underwater. It's not a requirement.
I know, but I feel like that's a part of the process. Like, it's not a requirement, but when I was a kid, like, we played this game where my cousin, like, somebody would drop a penny and we would like go underwater and grab it. She always found it first because she had her eyes open.
Yeah, see, I think I've opened my
I
eyes
just would be down there.
underwater in a pool one time.
Me too, like maybe
just
once or
somebody
twice.
had to talk me into the fact that it wouldn't actually hurt or nothing like
Exactly, which I still am not.
Yeah, I'm still not sold on it.
And then you got goggles, and then
I
there's
don't
the
think I'll do it
whole
again.
hair factor. Let's talk about it. Black women and the hair. I mean, I already have to time my hair appointments around when I'm going to work out, not to mention chlorine.
Yeah, that's
That's a
true.
lot. But I mean, I've gotten pools growing up all the time. I just didn't really do much other than like kick it. And so I just like I want to be able to like swim laps, like breaststroke, like backstroke, like all of that. I want to be able to like actually do it as a form of exercise, not just water aerobics, because I love me some water aerobics.
Yeah, and just to kind of add to what you're saying right now, Houston, very recently, as a matter of fact, June 10th, Fox 26 in Houston posted that Houston declared drowning a public health crisis in Harris County. Looking at this little map right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people drowned within a certain time frame. Most of them are under 10.
See, and that's why I want to learn how to like legit swim laps, because when we have kids, I want them to be exposed to the water. I want them to take swim lessons, and I want to be able to save them if something happens.
Yeah. I saw a news story the other day where a kid like jumped a fence and went swimming, but that's beside the point. He could not get himself out of the water.
So I went to this summer camp one time, and it was like you had like a few weeks of tennis lessons, a few weeks of karate lessons, and a few weeks of swimming lessons. And so I took the swimming lessons, but I just never could really get comfortable like underwater. You know how some people just like take to it? I just was so nervous, and so I just never really stuck to it. But there's a history behind why Black people don't swim, and we joke about it all the time and say, oh, I don't want to mess up my hair, which is valid. But also, back in the day, if Black people tried to get into public pools, white people poured chlorine on them.
Yeah, there's that.
And so
we talk about how that things like that are ingrained in our psyche as Black people.
And then you pass that down.
Right.
Because if that happened to our grandparents or our parents, then they wouldn't know how to swim to teach us how to swim.
True.
Right? So it's just one of those things that, I mean, now it's embarrassing, but it's also just a real fact of life. And, you know, I'm glad that LeBron is trying to do something about it, because I think that is major in terms of just, I mean, I hate to say progressing as a society, but I mean, you just mentioned like that it's a health crisis. And so, yeah, I think that is important.
Yeah, I would agree. Again, it's literally, health is usually the ability to take care of yourself in most cases. And if you can't get yourself out of the water, then there's an issue. So, now where was I?
That's all I have for real this time.
Sure.
Obscure news.
So, okay. Like I said, I've been working a lot this week, and I'm going to be working a lot the rest of this month. So I haven't had time to like really do much of anything, but I did find this one hilarious headline, and there's really nothing else that jumped out at me either.
What you find?
So there's this picture. It looks like, I don't even know how to describe this picture, but I will share this on Instagram tomorrow so y'all can see what I'm talking about. I'm gonna put it in a story and you'll get to see it. If you're one of the people that like listens right when it comes out, you'll get to see it. I might just go ahead and post it. I don't know. Anyway, there's a picture. All right, so just gonna look at the left side of this picture. There's what appears to be a woman with, I'm gonna be honest, a bad wig and not the best looking hat. She got some lipstick on, This person has lipstick on, some glasses, and a lady's trench coat, right? The picture immediately to the right of it shows a completely different person. It's almost like one of those pictures where it shows the before and after with and without makeup kind of thing. But the headline reads, "Man arrested after he was caught writing his girlfriend's final exam."
What?
And the picture is taking place in a classroom.
No.
You can see desks in the background.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, this is hilarious. This took place in Zimbabwe, and I'm not even remotely finna try to pronounce these names because I do not want to disrespect these people, even though this story is quite hilarious. This man disguised himself as a woman and pretended to be his girlfriend so that he could write her exam for her. He wanted to help her because she was failing.
Aww.
I was like, "Oh, your heart was in the right place."
It was.
But it's not quite legal. After people noticed that this person was not a female, they alerted the necessary. No, people actually pronounce it that way in like Europe. The necessary parties, and dragged him out of the classroom. He was then arrested. The girlfriend said that the pair had agreed to help each other so that she could pass. I'm assuming. Oh wait, okay. Because then it says the teen, so I'm assuming she's 18 or 19 because the guy's 26. Yeah, the girlfriend, her Twitter name is on here, so if you find his article, you can find her, but I'm not going to say it out loud. Was also arrested and detained for about 3 hours. And yeah.
So would you put on a wig and lipstick and a women's trench coat and take a test for me?
Probably not. I can't say I would.
I can't say I would ask you to do that.
Yeah.
I feel like just figure something out.
Yeah, it's because if you got to go through that, then you need to figure something else out for real.
Like by the time you get to the final, you either passing or you're not. Like, I mean,
true.
You either know it or you don't, and you just got to move on with life.
And on top of that, that's academic dishonesty.
Yeah, we don't do that.
And with us being higher ed professionals, we cannot condone such behavior.
Yes. And that honor code I signed 500 years ago in undergrad, I still stand by that.
Yep.
That's hilarious, and you definitely need to post that picture so people can see the before and after, because
all right, I'm gonna send it to you. So
I think
you
he
can
did a
post it,
great job.
I'm gonna be done busy tomorrow, so I need you to do it.
I got you. So, moving right along, since you said that was all you have for obscure news, and let's get to our next segment that we decided to call Asking for a Friend.
Hashtag asking for a friend.
And so if you have questions that you want to send us, you can send them to askttrl@gmail.com, askttrl@gmail.com. And as always, that you can send us whatever your random thoughts are, whatever is going on in your life. It could be, work drama, family drama, relationship drama, or just like something random you want to know about us or want to ask us. And so definitely send us your questions. We want to hear from you. That's the best part of the show, is hearing from our listeners. So,
hey, okay, go ahead. I got excited.
So you got excited because we have a follow-up from Moesha. And so Moesha said, I heard you were looking for me.
You got to do it in T.I. I heard you were looking for me.
Okay, I was going to say, no, you got to do it in the T.I.
That's that little flip disc on
voice.
Gangsta Grill's mixtape.
Okay, I was going to ask you what that was from.
T.I.P.
And so Moesha says, sorry for the delayed response. Since the time I sent the first letter, I was studying for finals and wrapping up my internship. I was a few episodes behind on all my favorite podcasts. Can I just say thank you for calling us one of your favorite podcasts?
Wow.
Because flattered, honored. And let me say, I totally understand, because I am currently behind on all my favorite podcasts as well. So shout out to The Read. What else am I behind on?
I'm behind on The Read.
The Love Hour.
I have not started The Love Hour.
I have not started
the Trevor
Dead
Noah
Ass.
thing. Yeah.
I'm really behind on, anyway, all
I'm
my
behind
faves.
on all my podcast. Yeah, I'm
Anyway,
so far behind.
but we're flattered. Thank you for considering us one of your favorite
Real
podcasts.
quick, before you read that next part, backstory for the people that may not have heard that episode.
Oh, you're asking me to give a
Yeah,
synopsis?
yeah.
I mean, basically, it was roommate drama.
So this girl, this young lady, college student. We don't know where She didn't specify where she goes to school or what classification she is or anything like that. So her and one of her really good friends moved in. They get an apartment. Everything was cool before that, and then the roommate, her friend, basically kind of did a 180. They had been really good friends for a long time. They were like, both majoring in, I think she said business or engineering, something hard. And they were doing well. And then next thing you know, the friend kind of just becomes a different person. She's like less driven, less focused, gets a boyfriend who doesn't seem to be a good fit, and kind of with the original email just kind of looked like she just stopped trying or whatever, right? Changed a major to something less difficult or a different discipline that didn't require as much strategy and study time and math and science. So from there, she, just had a little part-time job and was barely doing anything. Said she wasn't going to class, said she was failing stuff, and really just stopped trying. Wasn't in a good place, and that could be for a variation of reasons. However, the boyfriend started hanging out at the apartment way too much. Moesha caught the boyfriend peeking at her once she got out of the shower. Luckily, she just straight checked him on that and solved that, nipped that in the bud right away. He was scared to look at her. Leaving the place a mess, not splitting the bills the way they agreed to, smoking in the room, doing all kinds of stuff that was, one, against the leasing agreement, and two, just straight up terrible as somebody's roommate. The neighbors were complaining, and she changed the Wi-Fi code trying to make her do things better. So our initial response was, try to talk to her and explain why you don't want to live this way and why she shouldn't have to explain to her that she's being a terrible person to live with.
Okay, so Moesha in fast forward to now says, still catching up on my favorite podcast and just now heard Ryan ask if I had responded. Well, here's what happened. I ended up going to the leasing office to explain the situation and somehow managed to get out of my lease. Yes, I left immediately. I called several of my friends to help me clear out within 3 hours with my roommate while my roommate was out, leaving her there alone.
Hey, that's how you do it. Just move in silence.
She was only responsible then for half of the rent, but to my understanding was put on eviction notice and had to vacate within 30 days. Basically, with all of the violations they found and complaints from other residences, I was released on a loophole or something like that. I don't know. I don't care. It's over. it is over.
She spelled it OVA in all caps.
Love it. So with school and work and finding a place to live all at the end of a semester, I was scrambling to find a new place and was crashing with a friend in the meantime. I wanted to be nothing like my roommate, so I literally only spent essential time there, sleeping and showering, etc. But cleaned up everything as if it were my place out of appreciation. My stuff was in storage until I found a new place all by my damn self.
Hey.
As for the roommate, I have not seen or spoken to her. I blocked her on social media, yes, and she only tried to call once. She sent me a text asking what happened, like I hadn't discussed my issues with her already. I guess she thought I wouldn't do anything, but it ain't nothing to cut that. It ain't nothing to cut that off.
Snip, snip.
Like K-Camp, because I have no room for the BS or negativity in my life. Thanks for checking on me. Love the show and can't wait for the videos.
Yo, we need to go ahead and start. All right,
here's the problem with videos.
Here's the problem with it. Go ahead.
That requires me to put on real clothes and not be in pajamas.
Oh, yeah, because I'm definitely in some hoop shorts and a random t-shirt right now.
Yeah, and I'm not going on camera like that. You can forget about that. So,
no, seriously, I think we should start vlogging. Just like not doing episodes, like video episodes as much. Because I thought that would be a cool idea at first, but that would require us to put on clothes at night.
Yeah, because we would record these at night. So
yeah,
yeah,
figure something out.
we'll figure something out, and we appreciate that y'all want to see our faces.
We appreciate that you included us in the list of your favorite podcasts, and you felt the need to catch up.
That's major.
That's wow.
I love that. And thanks for the update, because we really were worried about you. We were wondering
like, whoa,
how you were doing.
How did she get out of that?
Yeah, we love.
I thought you were gonna fight her. Honestly,
I'm glad that you were able to get out of your lease. That's what I was hoping for. That's the ideal situation for them to realize.
Because the way you said it is over, you like you can throw some hands. You sound like you can throw some hands.
Yes. So I'm a fan of how this situation worked out. Congrats on your new place.
I love the part where she just straight dipped. We're
not gonna have a conversation because I've already told you what you've been doing.
She called
There's
her village.
There's no reason for us to keep going back and forth. She
called her village and she ghosted her own roommate.
Yes, I am here for that.
Yeah.
I love it because the way she disrespected you, there's nothing to talk about at that point.
Just get sometimes it's like I said before, sometimes you just need to get yourself out of situations and protect your peace.
I was finna say, it's nothing like your peace. And that is the best thing about having your own place. Is peace.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just gonna tell you, I have been there before where you just, absolutely no shade to any of my previous roommates because I was friends with all of them and we had little issues, but we never like completely fell out. They didn't do anything quite like this situation, but having your own place is just nothing like it. That peace and not having to worry about so-and-so's boyfriend coming over and what they about to do, and oh no, thank you. Seriously, other than you, I don't plan on having any other roommates.
Yeah, I couldn't do it because I lived by myself before I got here. Before that, I was staying with a family member, and it was not fun.
It's just so.
It wasn't bad.
No,
but I need my own space.
It's just nothing like your own space,
especially growing up as an only child. I always had my own space.
Yeah,
always, and I didn't know how to act when I had to share space. So, yeah.
See, I shared space with my sister, but my sister and I are also 6 years apart. So I kind of, after she went to college, I basically was an only child. So, yeah.
I side eye you every time you say that, but yeah.
I was at home by myself.
You were at home by yourself, but you still had a whole sibling who called you at least 2 or 3 times a week for sure.
No, when she was in college, she was not calling me like that.
But she came home for breaks.
Anyway, the point is, I'm sorry, I don't mean to take your only child cred.
Don't be false claiming.
The point is, congrats, Malaysia. We are super excited for you, and we hope you just light a candle and just enjoy.
Yo, if we was rich already, I'd send you a housewarming
I know,
gift.
that's what I was just thinking. I want to send you a housewarming gift so bad. So yes, enjoy your new place and enjoy your newfound peace. So our next question is coming from Ethan, and it is a quick little this or that. Ethan wants to know. Is
Ethan a Grey's Anatomy character?
It is. How did you know?
Because they're always Grey's Anatomy characters.
I thought you wouldn't catch that one.
When you change the name, they're always Grey's Anatomy characters or 90s sitcoms. That's
what I watch. I was hoping you wouldn't catch this one because this is like a character that wasn't on there very long, but this is one on my Bay board. And it's so funny because now I can't even think of his name.
That's hilarious.
I just want to say Lance Armstrong, and it's not. It's Lance,
is it Lance
Gross? Yes.
That's well, I didn't even know he was on there. Okay.
Yeah, he's on there right now, trying to date Maggie for a hot second.
Hey, oh.
Yes.
Yeah, because Maggie's one of my baes.
Yes, so. You love Maggie. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Ethan asks regarding facial hair, beard or goatee?
Beard. If you got it, flaunt it. Because not everybody can grow a beard.
So I'm going to say like back in the 90s and early 2000s, I would have said goatee, right? Because that's what all the cute guys had. And now, of course, it's all about the beard. Like, and I'm going to tell you right now, honestly, I would have said no facial hair prior to you
First
having.
Of all black men should have some sort of facial hair somewhere. Whether it's a mustache, whether it's just a little bit of chin hair at the bottom.
Why?
I don't remember where I heard this, but I always heard this growing up. I can't pinpoint the source of this statement. How many black men do you know that don't have facial hair?
I was really sitting here trying to think through our friends and do they all have facial hair? All of our black male friends.
I can't think of many, if any, honestly. And I don't know why. So me personally, I've always had facial hair from the time I was like 7. Like I was 7, had like long sideburns. My sideburns were like the bottom of my ear when I was 7. So I had the little cool haircut where, they cut like trim them real thin with the low fade. So I looked cool with that. Then I started getting a little bit of a mustache shadow, a little peach fuzz, whatever people called it back then when I was when I really thought I was doing something. Everybody was calling it peach fuzz. I had that at like 7. By the time I'm like 13, my sideburns are like almost, forming into chin straps, and I had almost a whole goatee. It's like they just wouldn't connect to like right here in this little spot. But by the time I was 13, I had a whole mustache and chin hair at that point. So by the time I was 14, 15, chin straps connected. I had like a full goatee with the chin straps. 17, 18, I realized I had a full beard. I just, kept trimming it off because I wasn't into wearing a beard yet. So I've always had facial hair. I generally don't like to shave it off, especially because, the whole pseudofolliculitis thing is a real thing.
Pseudo for who?
Pseudofolliculitis.
Come on.
Basically, specifically black men, but men with coarse curly hair textures are more prone to razor bumps due to ingrown hairs and things of that nature. It is not only aesthetically unaesthetically pleasing, whatever the opposite. It looks bad, but it also hurts. It like itches, it's irritating, it irritates your skin. You can't scratch it because that'll make it worse, which can lead to discoloration, and then you got uneven skin tone around your face, and that's no fun. So I just grew up not shaving. The only time I would like trim my facial hair was with clippers, because it was at least it would at least prevent some of the razor bumps and stuff like that. So I always thought that had a lot to do with why black men always have facial hair of some sort. But I don't know. Everybody's story is different. Everybody's hair textures are different. Everybody's skin is different. But I can't remember who told me that. But
some people just can't grow a beard.
Some people cannot grow full beards. So they just, stick with the mustache, to rock with the goatee, whatever they got, But I literally can't think of very many, except for the ones who work in like Wall Street.
I used to like
stuff like that.
I used to think that I wasn't like a huge fan of beards, or like it was like take it or leave it type thing. But when I saw that picture of Drake with and without a beard, I was like, whoa, okay. Then you started seeing a bunch of pictures of men with and without a beard, and basically
James Harden.
People are saying that, yes, oh my gosh, James Harden without a beard. No. James Harden with a beard? Yes, please. And so then you start to realize people are saying that like men with beards is kind of like women with makeup, like that it leads you on to thinking that someone is like looks better than they actually are.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't like my chin
without a beard.
So you pretty much never gonna see my chin. Even if I cut this full beard off or down really low, I'm still gonna have like a goatee over like the low faded beard, I guess. I don't know.
When it comes to you, I feel like you do whatever you like and feels good and looks good, because I don't care at this point.
Here's the deal. You're never going to see me without some sort of facial hair. Like I will probably never ever be completely bald faced. I once had a job where they basically tried to tell me that I was required to shave my face completely.
You look so weird.
It was a portrait studio, and they were like, facial hair scares the children. I was like, have you ever heard of Santa Claus?
Right.
And children love Santa Claus.
Right.
So try again. Right. Give me a better argument.
Yeah.
And I, being the
compliant.
Yeah, I was gonna go the complete opposite. But yeah, being the compliant employee that I am, always had a little bit of facial hair. I always had like a very, very light goatee. And I was ready to pull that folliculitis card.
But you still had it shaved down way more than now.
I had it way lower than I was comfortable with. And
back then we had just started dating, so I thought you would be weird with the beard. Now I can't imagine you without it.
Yeah, you might not ever see me without it, honestly. Again, I might trim it down low, but yeah, I don't know. Now I'm kind of curious.
You say that all the time.
I say that a lot, but I never do. But yeah. So with that was like a traumatic experience for me. So around the time I was getting ready to quit because I had found another job, this was just a terrible company. They wouldn't even accept a 2 weeks notice. So you literally just had to keep your job search under wraps. Don't tell nobody, because if somebody find out and they snitch, they just send you out the door right then. So once I found my new job, once I had, my background check went through and everything, and I was on to a real job, I just started letting it grow. So I'm like 3 days in without shaving, and I had a little full shadow. And it was lined up and everything. I was just waiting on somebody to say something. So my last day, I I just walked. I just took a long lunch, and I was like, told my then basically manager, because I was assistant manager at the time. I told the manager, I was like, hey, I got a new job, so this can serve as my 2 weeks notice. He was like, yeah, we don't take 2 weeks notices, so if you want to stick around the rest of the day, we appreciate it because we're getting really busy. I was like, nah. Have a great day though.
Yeah.
Nothing against you. I just hate this company. So yeah.
Well, Ethan, I say do whatever you feel like rocking. Right now, it seems like beards are very on trend. So that's what I'm going with. But I'm not a man. So, I do all that I can to remove all the bodily hair that I can. So,
and frankly, I would say, at least keep it trimmed. But, some people just like to let their hair grow natural and be naturally, the way it comes out. And I'm fine with that. Yeah. It again doesn't make me any difference.
Yeah, rock what you got.
I personally like to keep mine shaped up, and I try to comb it and straighten it out a little bit because it's way longer than it looks. My beard is way longer than it looks, but I gotta like blow dry it to make it. But I don't be feeling like doing all that.
So again, you can send us your questions to askTTRL@gmail.com, askttrl@gmail.com, if you have something that you are #asking for a friend. All right, so let's just wrap up the show this week with our love life advice of the week. Just a little quick tip for you if you're in a relationship or want to be in a relationship one day, or just want to know what works for us. And I saw this on social media and thought, this would be a good one. And it was just one of those memes that says, keep your relationship private, but it shouldn't be a secret. What do you think about that?
I agree with that. As a matter of fact, I sent you something very similar, and you may have hijacked this from me.
Yeah, I mean,
because you tend to do that.
Here's the thing: everything on the internet is fair game. So
sure.
But the point is, I'm a big fan of this. Obviously, our relationship is somewhat of an open book, considering we have a podcast and we talk about it quite a bit. But at the same time, there are certain things that are just for us that are private. There are certain things that we keep to ourselves.
For us.
What was that?
I was singing FUBU.
Oh. And so with that being said, people always ask that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yep.
I didn't see that. So
of course you didn't.
The article that Ryan pulled up says, "Here's why happy couples post less." Oh, here's why happy couples post less about their relationships on social media. And so, yeah, I kind of dig that. Like, I love that you don't hide me. Like, it's not a secret that we go together, but you don't post like pictures of me sleep or like pictures of like, yeah, this would Tara be buying. Like, you don't like put my business out there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like, here's my thing. My thoughts behind that, and I'm not saying this is everybody, but a lot of the times it just seems like, who are you trying to convince?
Exactly.
I think it was Drake said, this one chick is in a happy relationship until she puts the phone down. Like, she posting everything. Girls, a lot of people, I'm not going to say girls, but a lot of people just post everything on social media to make it look better than it is.
Yeah. And that's with everything. Obviously, you posting the good food, not the little ham and cheese sandwich.
I'm not finna post my ramen, even though my ramen be fire the way I cook it. But I'm gonna post my sushi.
Right. You post things that are a little bit fancier. And so same thing with your relationship. You post like the cute or the best moments. And so, that's fine. But you don't have to share everything.
Right.
And I think we have a good balance of that, of like, we don't, our relationship is not a secret, but it's also not highly advertised of every little detail. And I would definitely recommend that for people who are new in a relationship. Like, if it's just starting out, like, just be careful before you share everything with the world. Be careful how much you share with the world. Discuss it with that other person as far as like what they want on social media or what they don't want on social media. Like, I mean, that's just, but the thing is that it's that line between private versus secret. Now, if it's a secret, that's a problem.
True.
Because if your friends don't know about me, your family doesn't know about me, you ducking and diving, hiding, I can't, meet nobody, you won't post ever on social media to the point where people don't know if you single or not, that would be a problem.
Right. There are times where some people just simply don't do social media. So if you meet somebody that's like, oh, I don't do social media, but you want to post about them, if they say it's fine, then it's fine. If they ask you not to, they may have a valid reason, and it may not be something you understand right away. But if you really want to be with that person, just let it go. Social media is not everything. What's the Chinese billionaire that's running for president said that social media is the cancer of our generation?
I can see that.
That could very well be the thing, because a lot of the times people get way too upset about things that somebody posted on a digital platform, something that you literally can't touch.
Yeah.
It's intangible, but it's got you so upset.
And we love social media. Like I said multiple times, we're comm majors, so we literally took classes on social media. Like it's, a big part of how we advertise. We're a big part of branding. Obviously, for this podcast, we're gonna use social media. But yeah, there's a way to do it, and there's a limit to it. And you don't have to post every little detail about your life or your relationship for that matter. So just keep that in mind that, your relationship, it's good to keep things private, but just don't necessarily keep it a secret. That would be a concern. Also want to say just a quick side note. I love that people still say you only get married once. Like, isn't that hilarious?
Nah.
Because the thing is, it's not such a given anymore. Like a lot of people get divorced. Even the people you looked at as, their goals can get a divorce. Like it's not a guarantee that you only get married once, but it's still the goal. And so like I've had that happen to me a lot recently where I'm just talking about wedding plans and they're like, yeah, you only get married once. And I'm like, yes, thank you. That we are only going to get married once. Now we will renew our vows multiple times.
Right.
But yeah, like this is the goal is, me and you forever, and that's it. So I think that's beautiful that's still a saying that people use.
Yeah, I think around the time in the months leading up to us starting to talk, maybe it was around the time we started talking, I posted like a random graphic, wasn't quite a meme, but a graphic saying I want my first marriage to be my only marriage. This is back when I posted random stuff on my Instagram.
I think I saw that and was like, I'll take it.
Yeah, I think we had a whole conversation about it. And we were like, yeah. So the social media thing, don't let that get in the way of something that could be great behind something that's falsified in your mind. Again, social media is not something that you should measure your life by, because at the end of the day, what happens is you compare I'm trying to think of the phrase. Somebody said this phrase, I don't remember who said it. Don't compare your chapter 1 to somebody else's highlight reel or something like that.
And that's really what social media is. Like, you don't know the full story.
You don't know the whole story. They're posting what they want you to see, and you're comparing that to how you live every day. You should not do that. You shouldn't do that. So I think that about wraps it up for this show. Man, this is 18 episodes.
Can't believe it.
Wow. And we somebody's favorite. We somebody's on favorite list.
I'm gonna take that as all the ratings we need.
Yeah, somebody we don't know said they were on their favorites list. So
I'll take it.
Yeah. That's all the more reason for us to keep going with this.
Indeed. So follow us at This Is TTRL on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and engage with us. Tell us what you liked or want to see more of, and we look forward to hearing from you every week.
Subscribe to the podcast on whatever podcast streaming app you're using. Most of it is Apple Podcasts and Spotify, so shout out to everybody who's subscribed and following us. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter if you want to. THERY_C as in man, hold up, it's the right C. Stop acting like you don't use social media and give out your social media.
Oh,
I don't really use social media.
mean,
I don't really do anything. You post way more than I do.
I know, right? Somebody actually said to me recently, they're like, Terry, you post a lot. I was like, and and so my Insta and Twitter is tcar_examiner, and I know week like 1 or 2 I said I was going to change it, and I still haven't. So yeah, there's that.
In the meantime, follow her. We'll let you know when she does change it. Again, shout out to all y'all for listening, and we will talk to you in the next one.
Have a great week.
Peace.